Hello everybody. Today it's a reading day again. We are reading a book. Reading is really good if you want to learn new words. If you see the word which you don't know, for example, explorers. Who are explorers? Who knows? You just take your dictionary, translate the word if you don't understand it, and then write it down and learn. When I say write it down, it's really good idea to have your own notebook. Or I used to have where is my little notebook? I used to have a notebook and something like that. Do something like that. You have every page and you write the words in one part in one language. And then you have the translation on the other part. Why? Because that's how you will learn the words after all. So you have all these words, then you will cover one part, and then without looking at the other part, you can just check how well you remember the words. And then you cover the other part, and then you try to remember it in the opposite direction. For me it worked, because when you write the words down, it's good practice, because you have your mechanical memory. Mechanical memory means when you use your hand writing and you memorize the words. So that's training your memory and brains, which is quite good. Alrighty, so, and this book, which I found, is also quite good because it's history book. It's about explorers in North America. So you will learn something new today, maybe. And also, it's connected to the math. There are some solving addition and subtraction, whatever it is, right? If you don't know what is subtraction, you will see it in a moment how you can write it. So you will see the spelling, you can find the translation in the dictionary, and later on you will learn how to do addition and subtraction. So let's go for it. Open the book and start. So we open the book, and the first page in every book is normally the name of the book itself, and then you normally come to the content section. It's either at the beginning or at the end of the book. And in this page, you can see what you're going to read about. Adventurous explorers, Vikings arrive. I love reading about Vikings. When I am rich, I will buy a book about Vikings. Not about the Vikings, about Vikings, okay. All right, and some other things. Europeans set sail, you're exploring Canada and New York Harbor and all other things. We're not going to read all the book today, we're going to read part of it. So buckle up and let's go to the next page. So what's our first part is Adventurous Explorers. Fascinating, very interesting. You can see the picture and you can see the text. So while I am reading, you can look and read it too. But also you can push the pause button, look at the text and read it out loud. Also, okay, we'll try some other exercise today too. It's quite fun. So let's see. Let's look at the text. Adventurous explorers. And that's why I told you before to write down the words in English. I actually used to have 3 parts in my page, in my vocabulary book, because it's English. When you look at the word like this word, you don't know how to read it. So what do we do in this situation? In this situation, you write down the word, and then you have some space for it, and you write down how to read it. If you open the dictionary, actually, you will see the transcription, how to read. And in modern dictionaries, you can actually click the button, and they will tell you what it sounds like. So you need to write it down. I mean, for the next time, so you can read it. This word is throughout. Th sound is th. O-u is just u together, through. is something that we do not read, so it's just for fun. Throughout. Throughout means the same as during. Like during all the history, from the beginning of the time till now, it's all the same. Throughout history. From the Eve and Adam's time till nowadays. Throughout history. Okay, let's continue. Throughout history, many people have traveled great distances to discover new lands. Yeah, they do, and some people never left Gastonia. These explorers had different reasons for making these dangerous journeys. Explorers often set out with a particular goal, perhaps to extend their country's empire and increase its trade, or to gain wealth and fame for themselves. Some wanted to learn more about areas of the world. Hold on, there is no comma. Some wanted to learn more about areas of the world people knew little or nothing about. Yeah, there are no commas, it's difficult to understand where to pause. Some explorers traveled to distant lands to spread their religious beliefs. So you kind of finished reading this part. At the same time, it will be cool to find the words which you don't know and work with them. Let's find some interesting new words. What can be an interesting word here? For example, explorers. What is an explorer, or who the explorer is? Explorer is, and that's a time for you to write down the definition. How can you explain the word explorer? I would say it's a person who explores everything around them. Is it a good definition? It's not. Because I used the word explore, explaining the word explorers. So nobody understands me because we don't know the word explore. So explorer is the person who looks around and wants to learn something new and tries to discover some new things around. So that's the explorer. All right. Can you find any synonyms to the word explorer? If you have the word explorer, try to find the synonym. What does it mean? Other words with the same meaning. Explorer is the same as traveler, maybe scientist in some context, and maybe seekers of troubles. Trouble seeker. That can be really. Trouble seeker. Okay, let's continue. Throughout history, fame. Gain wealth and fame. There was. Where is my phrase? Ooh, there we go. Or to gain wealth and fame. What does that mean? Wealth means the condition when you have a lot of money. Like these people in the picture. They look very rich. So they are rich, they have a lot of wealth, or they have a lot of money and other resources. And fame, what is fame? You know the word famous. If you don't know, go Google, because famous is the really word which you really know. It's everywhere. It's used every day. It's a necessary word. Famous and fame. Fame is what you have when you are famous or when a lot of people know you. So a lot of people know you, so you have fame. Ta-da! Yeah, you have 2,000 subscribers on YouTube, you have fame. Whether it's good or not. Okay, let's continue reading. This book will use timelines to show the history of exploration in North America. Timelines are tools that can help us organize important dates and events in the order that they happened. We'll see them in the next picture. It's easier to see than to explain. Okie dokie. Oi, why is my page like this? Where is my timeline? I don't see the timeline actually. But okay. Timeline is actually like a line with the dates. Yeah, we'll see them with examples and then later. Yeah, all right. It will be there in the 3rd chapter. So Vikings arrive. Our second page is Vikings arrive. Or Vikings. I would say Vikings, but in English translation, in English pronunciation, it's Vikings. Vikings arrive. The Vikings were probably the first explorers to reach the New World. Why is it called new? Because old world is Europe. America is the New World. They came from what are now the northern European countries of Sweden, Denmark, and Norway. When Vikings lived there, at that time, they did not call them Denmark or Norway. They had different names. The Vikings were experts at sailors. Hold on. The Vikings were expert sailors and fierce warriors. Hold on. How do you pronounce that? Warriors. Fierce warriors. Давай заново. The Vikings were expert sailors and fierce warriors. Fierce means like angry. Expert means experienced. Experienced sailors and fierce, angry warriors. In the late 800s, they began to travel the North Atlantic Ocean in search of riches and new lands. Around 870 AD, is it before or after the Christianity started? Vikings began to migrate to Iceland and settle there. In the 1980s, Vikings in Iceland began to travel to Greenland to settle there. Around 986 AD, it's our era, okay, it's in our era. A Viking ship making the trip to Greenland was blown off course. So they were moving in one direction, and because of wind, they had to go somewhere else. And the ship's captain saw a coastline to the west. This was probably the coast of North America, but the ship continued on to Greenland instead of exploring the new land, because it was not on their plans. The Vikings made their sea journeys in long, narrow ships made of wood. These ships were called knarrs. Knarrs. They actually had several names depending on the size of the ship, because they... Oh, now I can continue forever. Actually, Vikings they had different types of ships, and these ships were called differently. But it's a different story. We're going to continue it later. And now we will move to the next page. All right, we continue. And now on the left, at the left, or in the left picture, you can see the red square. This red thing is exactly the timeline which we were talking about before. So you can see that there are dates, and these dates are organized chronologically according to how they were appearing in the history. So that's we call, what do we call it? Timeline, because it's a line of times and events. All right. The Vikings in Greenland soon heard about the new land that had been discovered. By this time, most of Greenland's farmland had been claimed, so interest in the new land grew. So they were just fighting all the time. They already claimed, settled there, and it was somebody's land by now. Around 1000 AD, a Viking leader named Leif Erikson and his men set out to find the new land. They landed along North America's eastern coast and formed a settlement, which they called Vinland, or maybe Finland, hold on, depending on how they pronounce it, because it can be pronounced actually Finland, depending on the language. Some historians believe that Finland was located in what is now Newfoundland in Canada. There we go, surprise. Others think that it may have been in what is now Massachusetts or Maine. Yeah, because we don't know, because it's both in this northern part and it can be just near there. More Vikings traveled to Finland or Vinland and the colony was established. By 1014 AD, however, the Vikings abandoned the colony, probably because of battles with the native people who lived in the area. All right, and as I told you before, these books will teach you how to do the subtraction. How do we do that? Look at the green part and look at the question. That's your task, right? How many years after the Viking first saw North America's coast did they establish a colony in North America? You can subtract 986 from 1000 to get your answer. All right, so we write 1000 on the top and then we write 986 on the bottom. And then we try to subtract it. The answer is 14. How did we get it, right? That's fun. So let's look at it properly. If you try to subtract from zero it's kind of impossible. But at the same time, we understand that 1000 is more than 980 something, whatever, right? So it's possible. How do we do that? So we will get 1 from the previous number. I don't know how to explain it right now. Okay, let's imagine that 0 is not a 0. We'll take 0 as 10. 10 minus 6 will be 4. So we'll subtract that and we'll write down 4 at the bottom. But we need to remember now that we took 1 to make this 10 out of the next number. So when we start 0 minus 8, we cannot do the same. We cannot say 10 minus 8 because we already took one item out of there. So it's not 10 minus 8, it's now 9 minus 10 or minus 8 because we already used 1. It would have been easy if we changed something. For example, let's take another example. Let's take 1007 minus 900. So if it's 1007 minus 6, so we'll take 7 minus 6 will be 1. So we do not take anything from the 0 for the 8 calculation. Now, when it's 0 minus 8, we will take 10 minus 8, right? Because we just started it. But in this very example, we're going back. In this very example, it was 9. Again, for the calculation, when we take 9, we already took 1 item from the next 0. And so we are coming to the next. It's not 10 minus 9, it's already 9 minus 9. And 9 minus 9 is 0. That's why we get only 1 and 4. So it's 14 years. If you are really in doubt about that, you can check your calculations. To check your calculations, you will take 986 plus 14. If they together make 1000, you've done everything perfectly well. Congratulations. And we can continue reading our book. What's our next page is... Oh, that's fascinating something. The European set sail. European set sail in the... That's already Columbus. That's our favorite story about Columbus. Does he look like Columbus? Most probably yes. And then you can see other people coming later to the northern part of America. Okay, let's continue. Okay, we'll continue, but we're gonna continue next time. So thank you all for watching, and you can click the like button, or you can leave your comment in the comment section below, or you can actually tell me which words were new for you in this book. Try to make sentences with them, and I am waiting for them in the comment section below. So go ahead. See you next time.